People come into therapy or coaching because they want lives that are more joyful, more expansive, more fulfilling, more successful. And the reason that those things aren't happening is because they're holding narratives that are holding them back from experiencing the kind of expansion and joy that they want. So if you're holding a belief that people don't love you, you're going to feel yucky and tight and constrained. And when you encounter people, maybe you'll be more shy, you'll hold back. You won't engage with them in a way that makes them feel like you're interested in being in relationship with them. Those behaviors then lead to less people being in your life. Less people being in your life leads to the belief being enhanced that people don't love you. It's really that simple. Your thoughts create your feelings, create your behavior, create the reality that you live in. And when you're able to question those thoughts and hold a different perspective, like people do love me, suddenly you find you're friendlier, you're wanting to engage, you're wanting to connect. It's what's happening right now. Because I used to be one of those people that believed that people didn't love me. So the idea of being able to look at a camera and know that I'm talking to a perfect stranger and still absolutely adore you seemed totally impossible to me 30 years ago. Very early in my personal growth journey, I got a knock on my door from my friend Noga, who said, "You've got to read this book." And at the time, I was new to the idea that our thoughts have a huge impact, not just on our internal experience, our emotions, and our behavior, but also on the world around us and how our lives manifest. But I had no idea how to actually shift my thinking. She hands me this book, I read it, my mind is totally blown, and I knock on my friend Miriam's door and I say, "You've got to read this book." And like a virus, this book went around my entire neighborhood, and a group of us, about 10 women, gathered together every single week for a year or two and worked this material. And the work of Byron Katie is this really simple tool that teaches people how to inquire, how to question their thoughts, and how to explore a different perspective. And since then, I've learned a whole slew of modalities of how to help people engage in the process of inquiry. And I've become so obsessed with it that I've even written 2 books about the topic. And in the process of questioning your thinking, you start coming across the parts of yourself that are holding the thoughts that are causing your distress. And that was my first introduction to parts work, in noticing that it was me at age 9 or me at age 5 who was holding this belief that I'm unlovable or unworthy or I don't want to pray or whatever it is. And as I started working with these younger parts, I noticed that the thought could finally experience a release in a way that it couldn't when I worked on my own. So the work of Byron Katie is something I love to teach people because it's very easy to learn, very easy to journal, great homework assignments, really easy to apply to your life. And I love integrating it with parts work because then we're really able to get to the core of what's bothering these younger parts and how do we release them from the chains that shackle them into upset and distress. So I had a client who came into my clinic because she was really struggling with her perception that every single person in her life was leaving her, one after the other. Now, I happen to know that that wasn't exactly true, but nonetheless, that was her story. And my understanding of our stories is that usually what happens is we have a story and then our life manifests the story we believe. But most of us think that we're looking at our lives and creating a story from it. So I asked her to explore this belief. And eventually she came to realize, hey, I have this friend who I was friends with from when I was 19 till I was 40, just a really long time. And then she said, and when I was 40, I got divorced and moved away. And then my friend dropped me like a fly. And I said to her, did your friend drop you? Or did you drop her? Is it possible that in your getting divorced and moving away, she felt like you abandoned her? You abandoned the lifestyle you were sharing together, you abandoned the community you were sharing together, and the expectation that you guys were going to be raising your children together for the rest of your lives. And it was such a huge aha moment where she took a belief that everyone leaves me and suddenly realized that actually sometimes she leaves other people, and that life isn't so black and white.